Hey everybody, welcome to Comic-Con Day 2. We have an awesome stream lined up for you. We have so much going on. We're going to kick things off by just kind of highlighting what we talked about yesterday. If you were not here for our first stream of Comic-Con, we had a versus matchup, and we talked about this amazing print, which we're going to talk about even more today. But we went through versus, and if you've never played versus, it's a two-player card game where you and another player get a deck of cards, 60 cards, all sorts of heroes and even villains, and play against each other in a all-out match. There is a video up that you can watch. It will be up today on YouTube later today, but also in the Twitch. You can actually look at past broadcasts and check that out. But today we have a special guest, which we're going to highlight this amazing print, and then we're going to go into some accessories that you see here, some play mats, some card sleeves, and more. But first off, I want to welcome our guest, or our team today. We have Mark, who's going to be talking about the play mats and the card sleeves and other accessories that we have. And then we're going to be, I have Sam and Dave DeVries with us, and he is the artist of this masterpiece, and Sam is an artist on our side from Upper Deck that helped the process along. So, and if you hear another voice, that is Terror Sky, who's monitoring the chat and helping us make sure your questions get answered. So, without further ado, I think we can dive right in. Dave, hello.
Hey,
how we doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah,
Doing good. Yeah.
you excited?
Yep. Very excited. It's been just really. I've been sharing this around on the on Facebook on some of the sites and getting some good feedback. So really happy to talk to people.
It's amazing. Literally, I love it. The one thing that stood out to me right away when I first saw this was how her hair, like, turns into the skulls with it, and I'm like, that's so cool. I love that. So,
Thanks, man.
well, we have some questions for you, but also behind me on the screen here, they see the updated game space, and this is a presentation that of your artwork that we're gonna kind of go through. But let me ask you, what was your favorite part about working on this piece?
It was, I think, probably what you just said. The hair with the skulls. It was kind of a challenge because the print had to function as like two different compositions. You know what I mean? It had like one where certain characters were there and one where certain characters weren't. And the one thing that people said was Warlock had to be very large.
Yeah.
So what you're thinking in terms of art is you're going, I gotta basically fit all this stuff here in, but I also have to make one character dominant, and it's it can't be Warlock because Warlock's behind, he's in the background. So what I did is I expanded the hair out, made the figure a little closer, and that dominated the picture and it functioned without Warlock and with Warlock. So that took me a while to figure that one out.
I love it. How did you now we had the two different versions, one without magic, and who else are we missing? And Warlock.
Warlock.
What were those hard? Like, did you originally paint that or to create it all with the characters and then remove them, or did you plan on having those spots? That's how it happened.
Well, in the design phase, which I'll show you, in the little later on with the sketches, I designed it so they're all there. And if you don't figure that out first, but it's easier to work a whole picture and then go in and take out the stuff. Because I took out Warlock and I took out Magic and kind of expanded the hair over. So
Gotcha.
because it left a big hole in the composition when Warlock was gone. So yeah, that was people are saying, well, why don't you do it the other way around? I'm like, no, I can't do that. My brain does not work like that.
It's like, how do I leave holes purposely? Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, I think it filled out great. Sam, just say hello to everyone. I'll give you a little intro.
Hi, everyone.
You gotta get the voice just right. And Sam, feel free to chime in with any great questions as well. But we're gonna dive into, so on the screen right now you see the art piece. Now this piece is just one of many pieces that you've done throughout your career. So we want to go through this presentation just a bit. If you guys are not, let me get this going really quick. Here's the info for this amazing piece. It's our Comic-Con this year exclusive. There's only 100 of them. So do not wait. Make sure you go grab it because once it's gone, it's gone. And so there's the information that you'll need. Is a good size piece, 18 by 24. The material is incredible, as you can see there. And then it is available on Upper Deck store, which Terror Sky will put the link in the chat for you. So it's just a click away. All right, so let's go back to this and let's
gotta say one thing though. I just got the print. I just got the poster or print in the mail, and the artist proof prints. And I'm telling you, like an Illustrator is going to be really tough on the printer. I've had a lot of things that it didn't print very well, but I was blown away. I mean, I'm not just saying this. I just showed it to my wife and my son, and they thought the colors were just super vibrant. It looks just really rich, and the paper feels it's a really good paper. I was like very, very impressed. I literally got it this morning, so I just opened it a little while ago. So I'm very, very happy with it.
Yeah, the screen, this screen that you're looking at right now doesn't do it justice. When you get this thing printed out, the red pops, nice, rich, warm colors. I'm not going to talk art because I'm not an artist, but it's visually awesome. So let's you can see what I can see, right, Dave? With what's up. So we're going to go to your next image here, and we can go through this together.
It's a little history. So I figured I'd start with, this was the first card I did for in the whole trading card industry, and it's just Wolverine versus Sauron. I was told later on that it was a terrible card by an art director because it's new guy. It's a great poster because it's big, but when it prints really small, he gets Wolverine. I know he's short, but he shouldn't be that small. But I still love the piece. It just was the very first thing I ever did. So
gotcha. All right, we'll keep it going.
Yeah.
So this is your next one.
That piece got me on the map. That was the one that did it for me. As soon as because of that piece, I got on the Marvel Masterpiece '95 set, and everything kind of stemmed from there. So I don't know what they saw in it, but I was happy with it and happy with the result.
Oh, that's beautiful. So much. How long did it take to do something like this?
Well, in the beginning of my career, like that Wolverine Sauron was 2 weeks. And by the end, and this is interesting because they said, okay, we need you to do 50 paintings in a year. And I was just like, wait a second, it's only 50 weeks, 52 weeks in a year. And they wanted at least, I had to get down to one every week and 1.5 a week, I think it was.
Wow.
And if it wasn't, they said, okay. I said, I don't think I could do it. And they say, okay, well, this is how much we're paying you. And I was like, I think I can do it.
I could swing that.
I took it on, and by the end, I was down to about 4 days. So for like a really complicated piece.
Then so that's from sketch to color?
Yeah, everything.
Wow.
So, for a pretty complicated piece. But yeah. And if you go, I think you can see some of the other ones.
Yeah.
There's a little story behind next. One of the things that, like Daredevil was 4 days. That was that was towards the end of the set. And
wow.
I throw little stories like Rogue there. That to me, that you don't see it, but she's battling the Hulk. She's just been punched. A building falls on her, and she's getting up for round 2. And it's, I specifically didn't want to do it as a cheesecake shot.
Yeah.
She's always in these cheesecake shots. And so I want to show like her really strong. So that was that about.
Oh, that's awesome. You got the Goblin and Nightcrawler here.
Yeah. Yeah. Goblin's interesting in the sense that it's that little corner of the building. That's all I had to do in the lower corner to put it in New York City.
Oh, there you go.
I did a down shot. I would have been doing perspective, and it would have been a nightmare. And then the Nightcrawler, which you can't see because of my face is in the way. There's like a lake, and he's up really high, about a mile up. And that from John Byrne, Chris Claremont, early issues basically stated he could teleport about a mile.
Wow.
And he comes out in intense pain when he comes out. So that's kind of what I was going for in that one. Bit of a fanboy.
Then we got. Go ahead.
This abstract piece you see next to it is the philosophy with my paintings. Okay. If you look in that white thing in the center of the abstract painting, right to the right of it is a little snaky looking head thing in the back. It's kind of white. That's sort of like the farthest thing away. And then that tube at the bottom of the piece is the closest thing. So even in my abstracts, I was doing these kind of like, compositions that, like, if you look at Submariner, his hand is the thing that leads you in. And I intentionally didn't put as much detail in the fingers, which I don't think you can see right now. But, and then I put more of the detail up in the face, the shoulders, and the other hand. And then towards the back is sort of like that little snaky thing, that little hand, that leg. It's the same composition, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
awesome.
I think there's always a skeleton, an abstract skeleton in there. More stuff from these sets, the Spider-Man and
that Spider-Man's awesome.
Carnage. Yeah, the Carnage one was me pushing it as far, probably as much as I could with the fisheye lens thing, which I really loved. Like, they're good next to each other because Spider-Man, that's like famed artist Tom Fleming sitting on a ladder. Posing for that, and then no one poses for Carnage, but like he's one of my favorite characters to draw. Anything where I can really distort things makes me really happy, and so I've had other artists come up and say, "Well, why can't you do that? Why can't I do, like, nobody lets me distort things?" And I'm like, well, this is what I kind of like put my portfolio towards, so that's why. They got to know what they're getting when they hire you.
Yeah. What do we got here?
This is a really weird story. It was a comic shop back in the 90s got the rights to produce an exclusive book. There's only 8,000 made, and that was the cover to it. It was for Heroes Reborn: The Return, and that's my cousin Scott when he was a kid, and Scott now, and he posed for Franklin Richards. Oh,
that's cool.
Yeah, they're fun to do. I mean, I always get people to pose. There's Tom Fleming again. He's if you've ever seen Tom's work, he's an amazing artist, and he knows how to pose, and he's posed for so many of the paintings, and we both pose for each other. But he's got the muscles, and I don't.
Oh wow, got Ghost Rider.
Yeah, that one's for Versus. That was Versus, and the other one was something for, I believe, I can't remember which company that was. You have to apologize, but he's some magical guy, doing all magical things.
Oh, there you go. That's a cool.
And this is interesting. You can see how from the sketch to the final things can change. I kind of lowered his leg, because it gave the illusion a little bit more. I don't know. I just liked it better that way, and so there's a story to this. As I painted this, I wanted to get a little Easter egg in there, and if you look into his glasses, you'll be able to see who he's fighting. So these are little things I like to do to kind of make it fun for the viewer and fun for me. And I literally took, if you go to the next slide, you can see. There's a close-up of it.
Oh, that's cool.
And so it's Carnage. So it's the same. So like this is who he's facing off against. And so these are little things I throw into my work to kind of get people,
looking carefully at it.
Yeah, I did this one thing for an editor, and it was a Fearsome 5 painting. I don't have it here, but I hid Spider-Man somewhere in it. Oh. And the guy went like crazy for a couple of days trying to find it, and then he finally called me back, and he's like, "I found it!" So things that it just makes it fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So these are more recent. That was for Upper Deck. I guess the Flare cards. That was Legion and Wendigo. And the whole Wendigo thing, these are both digital, but you can see the out of focus tree in the foreground. And Wendigo is kind of like, sort of like, this is the moment before Wendigo sees you and tears you apart, So it's like, I like the kind of like just before, something is going to happen. And then Legion, I watched the TV show, and I never really read the book, so I didn't know much about him, but I really had fun, just making him look insane.
I love the pose, how it tells you. It really helps you see it.
Yeah, and that's me posing. So, like, some people, like, when I draw my fingers, they're really kind of some bent and misshapen sometimes. So people go, I think you drew the hand wrong. I'm like, no,
that's mine.
I did it right. Those are mine.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. So, I did the sketches, and this is another thing I did. This is, if you've ever been on the Mummy ride, these are little deviation outside of comics. I do stuff for like concept art for movies and games and theme parks. So I did a lot of work on the Mummy ride.
Oh, you see it on a billboard.
Yeah, it was really cool. Nothing like seeing your work on a billboard. It's just like it's kind of a geeky moment. I had to get out of the car, stop the car, honey, and run out and take a picture. Almost get killed, But and this was I did some work for a video game company. That's Army Men, Sarge's Heroes, and so I did a lot of promotional work and character design and storyboards and things like that for that company and a few others, Activision, and but it's great work because it's the same skill set as comics, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, we see it here.
Yeah, this is. Nice. I worked on the Lego 2 movie. If you go back there, this was a piece of art that I did as concept art, and it was again it was a lot of work. There's like it's Photoshop, and there's a ton of layers. It must be like 100 and 200 layers or something to create all that. But it was so cool to see my name in the credits because I've never had anything in a movie before. So. Was kind of a trip, and I actually even did it while I was teaching middle school because I'm also a teacher, and taught middle school for a few years and college, and now I teach high school and college in addition to being an illustrator. So I don't know how I got that. I didn't sleep much.
So what happened here?
Oh, okay. This is something I do a project called the Monster Engine, where it's been on the web. You've seen people who've painted their kids' drawings. I started this back in '98, and it went viral, and then after a while it gets out there, and then it becomes something that other people are trying. And so this was my niece's drawing of Wonder Woman, and I just love how the ball and socket joint is attached to her jawbone.
Oh yeah.
But I basically transfer the drawing onto a canvas or illustration board, and I apply everything I've learned. I mean, if you're painting Carnage, there's all this weirdness happening, and you have to do the light and shadow to look three-dimensional. And I was like, it might be kind of cool on a kid's drawing, and that's how this was born.
That's awesome. All right, we're gonna do a little bit of a speed round here to get. Or is there any? Is there any? Yeah, we'll kind of click through these. So you guys, again, we're going through this just so you know. All the work that Dave's put into his career, just seeing all different aspects of what he's learned and added to his personal.
There's only like 3 of these. This is the third and final, I think. You can go to the next one.
Oh,
so that's a 6-foot painting, so it was a big one.
Wow,
that's my studio. When you
nice.
Yeah, that's where I'm sitting right now.
Very cool.
Yep, and. I think there's one other picture. Yeah, it's another angle. A lot of toys and stuff. Got to have that up there. So I'm going to go into after this. I'm going to go into my sketches, and I'm actually going to be doing a giveaway on my on some of the card Facebook pages for a page of this actual posters rough sketches. So you can see how many. They're rough, but as you're going through it, most of the time I'm changing things slightly, or I'm changing things drastically. And there's times I'm like, man, I'd like to see what would it be like if, the person was, I don't know, she was firing an arrow in this one. You can't really see it too well, but like, I remember these sketches. There's the main figure in the beginning. You have to have a larger figure in the background. So, in that last one, I didn't have, what's his name in there? Warlock. And so I had to, again, start from this type of thing where everybody's in there, throw the kitchen sink, everything in there, and then you can pare it back. But you can go to the next one. This one I considered a little bit more, probably. I kind of like this one. It's definitely something I could have done. But I think I scrapped it because I wanted Cannonball's like fire trail to be a real dominant shape in there, and in the center is Sunspot getting in the way of that. I think that's why I skipped that. But you can see sometimes I do them as scribble, sometimes I get into a little more. And they're not always something that you can understand as a layman because you're not in my head, but I can recognize everything. And if you really look, you can kind of determine
piece it together. Yeah, I'm starting to see like certain characters and kind of the idea where you're going with it, but
right. And so this one's bad because they're all the same size basically. So who you gonna look at first? That's the big problem. But yeah, you can go to the next one. There's a bunch in here. I do them on a page with 4 of them all at once. So I do 4 squares, and I just rapid fire do them quickly because then I can get sort of an overview, and I'll go back to the ones I like and start to kind of flesh them out. This one's kind of cool. It's sort of a low angle, sort of looking up, sort of an Alex Rossi type of, kind of thing going on with a Dutch tilt in it. So, but I didn't ultimately. I wanted more out of it. And
this side angle would have been kind of cool.
Pardon me?
This next one. This from the side. Yeah, that's
yeah. This is a whole nother thing. But do you notice where's Warlock and where? So like I'll do something. I'll be like, oh man, this is cool. I want to try this. Because all the negative space is kind of neat. But then you start to go, wait a second, I got to make a Warlock humongous. And where am I going to fit him? That takes away the whole composition.
Yeah.
So I went back and forth for a while. And Sam, who was working with me on it, she knows I was like really struggling. But I feel at the end of the day, I did a great job on this because I really wanted this to really be something that, showcases what I can do. And, this is kind of close to where I went with this.
Yeah.
We're getting there. And I think you go to the next. You can keep going if you want to look at that. That's fine.
Yeah,
that one's pretty cool too. These are the actual drawings that went into the composition. So sometimes I'll do studies. If the head is too small, I'll draw it bigger because it's hard to get that detail. And plus I need magnifying glass and whatnot.
Yeah.
These were unsuccessful. I hate these drawings. And it's embarrassing for me to show you these because I hate it. What is she doing? Is she bowling? I have no idea. So again, what I went with is the one that we are seeing right here. Because it was really important to have her hand up to her head.
Yeah.
To get that Charles Xavier sort of like I'm psychic thing going on. In terms of like her being really powerful and, you have to have that kind of burst coming out of her head, that pink burst. And you can see, obviously, there's, what's her name? Ilyana. Yeah. And there's the other guys.
Yeah.
So it was tough getting a good sword. Somebody holding a sword correctly. That was tough. But, I looked at a lot of reference. So people don't think that people think you just draw these out of your head. A lot of them are from my head. Like Warlock is completely out of my head. Yeah. But like I look around for the right models to draw from, and it takes some time. Originally, you could see Sunspot had his hand coming out behind the other character, but I kind of chopped his hand off. Never gave me on that one. So
there it is all together.
Yeah. So now I've got, this is a rough composition, and then the next one is
starting to add them.
Starting to get a little better. And then the one on the right or the left side is more of the final one. And as you can see, that that bowling. I don't know what her name is. I keep forgetting her name. The one that the psychic burst coming out of her head. You have to forgive me.
Sam, remind me. I'm struggling too.
That's Karma.
Karma.
Karma. Yeah. So Karma still bowling in that picture, because a lot of these, and even some of the face and for Magic changed. So as you're working, things can slightly change. I'd say Magic and Karma. Now this is important. This is an actual painting. So I started this as a physical painting, and you can see I painted in her chest and her shoulder and everything, and that was where I kind of like got really frustrated, and I started second guessing myself. And I started now.
Oh,
I'm a high school.
there we go.
Oh, okay,
you're back.
You good?
Yeah, you're back. Gotta love the internet.
Yeah. But so as it gets close to September, or it gets closer to, we're mid-August, or not late July, I think we were at that point. And I was going, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this done in time, because it's a big painting. It's I don't know if you could see me here in the picture here. I'm still talking. Here I am. Wait. It's fairly large. It's a big painting. So the funny thing is I brought this painting down to see my friend Tom down in Florida. Not Florida, in North Carolina. Drove all the way down there with my family. We were visiting people, but I was like, I'm taking the painting. I'm taking all my paints. I'm going to go talk to Tom. If he says it's good, I'm going to continue. And even though he said it was good, I just was like, I can't do it. I can't finish this in time. And it was a deadline issue. So as you can see here, the various stages here, I started painting it. I scanned it in, and then I started painting it digitally. So now this next part, which just popped up, where you see that red, that orange, was really pivotal. At that moment when I did that, I was like, that's really unusual. I don't know if I should do that, but I can't stop doing it. And I just went with it. So it was, and so if you go to the next one, you can see it starts to refine. You start to paint into that red area and, bring it out. And so that's why you see a lot of like that orange that's kind of filters through her costume and goes into her hair. And some of the people on social media are like, is that magma? And it, and you can tell by the belt, it's not. It's Mirage, and Mirage has this, really cool power to make you see, at least back in '83 when this takes place, she can make you see your worst nightmare. So you can keep going, kind of as it goes forward. It really was a slow discovery, and you can see as it starts to shape up. And I tell you, when I was painting this, I painted it like I'd teach a week, get to the weekend, paint like all weekend, teach a week, and it was a lot of
breaks,
a lot of work. But and it was frustrating for me to kind of go, oh, I can't wait to paint him, I can't wait to paint her, and that's the final, probably, and that's the other version. Probably my favorite part to do was right above, to the upper right of Cannonball. You can see like all this abstract skulls that are kind of melding together, kind of inspired by a guy named Tom Taggart, who does these sculptures of skulls, and they're really kind of weird and more just phantasmagorical. They kind of shift and turn and combine, and it's really, really good stuff. And so that was kind of an inspiration when I started doing these skulls.
Wow.
So it's just a slow climb. Sometimes, you as an artist, you go, man, I wish I could see this the way other people are seeing this, because you stare at it for like months sometimes. You know what I mean? I mean, it's good when you get a painting out fast, but this wasn't one of those.
Yeah.
And I did a comic years ago, and I came up with this crazy harebrained scheme where I hired a hypnotist to hypnotize me into forgetting my own work, so that I could look at it like everybody else.
Fresh light. Oh, that's cool.
It didn't work.
It didn't work. I still see it. It's ingrained.
We had this elaborate plan. My friend was going to pretend it was like, hey, Dave, I want you to see this comic. It was like this guy, this student of mine who really is really influenced by you. and the whole thing, like the hypnotist just didn't get to there. And I've met hypnotists who said they can do that,
Oh,
which
wow.
is one of those things that, like, to me, it's like, as an artist, you want to see like what everybody else is seeing.
Yeah. Well, cool.
So
Well, we are out of time. We have about 2-3 minutes. Is there any questions for Dave before we wrap up here? I'm gonna switch over to this print here so you guys can see all the information. But any questions for Dave before we let him go? We got a real nice picture in the chat. That's great. Yeah, I think. What is the favorite piece of his own work?
wow, that's interesting. This is up there. This is up there. The stuff I spend a lot of time on would be the stuff that I like the most. But character wise, I've always loved when I've loved painting like any of the Carnage and Venom, anything monstrous,
Yeah,
distorted. That's where I
warp.
really,
Yeah,
yeah, I really love that. But I also like when I do something that most people don't expect me to do and it comes out good. So, my actual favorite character in the world is Kid Flash.
okay.
And I've never been able to draw him successfully. I just can't do it. There's like a mental block. I tried, and it'd be a challenge to do the speed blurs and things like that. But
That's
but
awesome.
yeah, it's Hulk is also fun to do because he's just
Monstrous.
yeah, 1,000 pounds of like moving muscle and scream and teeth, and I like that.
Yeah. Jody has a question in the chat. Is this the same art that is on the new Legendary game box?
As a matter of
Yes.
fact,
Yes, Jody, it is. Small variation. And then your first question is, what are you working on next for Upper Deck? Sam, are we releasing that information?
We cannot say specifically what Dave will be joining us on next, but we can say that you will be seeing him soon.
Yeah. So Dave, we cannot release that, Jody. We can't say what, but he is. You will be seeing more art from him very, very soon, as you just
Cool.
heard from Sam. So, all right, Dave, thank you so much. Again, everyone, the information on the screen here. This is Dave who illustrated this amazing print that you can get. It is a limited print because it is our Comic-Con exclusive. There's only 100 of them, so make sure you go grab them. The link is up in the chat. And Dave, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, it was my pleasure. It's awesome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. All right, so I'm going to transition. Give me a second. I'm going to transition some screens here, and we will see you guys in about 30 seconds. All right, we're back. I'm going to show myself first. Thank you guys for joining us. Dave, amazing work. Incredible. Thank you all for joining that segment. Now we're back, and we got some awesome accessories to go over. Marvel accessories. We got play mats. We got card sleeves. And with me is Mark, who's going to be walking us through all that. Mark?
Thanks, Ryan. Everybody, thank you very much for joining us today on the second day of Comic-Con at Home. My name is Mark Shaughnessy. I am the product manager for some of our games, but also for our card accessories. Back in 2012, we launched Legendary, a Marvel deck building game. We've had a very long history with Marvel, one of the biggest IPs in the world. And with that, it really kind of helped us get into understanding what the cards, what the card games were going on at that time, especially with deck building. The thing about deck building games is you are constantly shuffling the same cards over and over and over and over again. So you need to be able to protect those cards. you're making an investment into a game, and the longer that you can extend that out, that life, the more value you get out of it. When Legendary launched, it did come with a game board, but over time we got into some of our other games like Legendary Encounters, and those boards got very big. This one in particular is actually the same size that you would find in our Legendary Encounters Predator and Firefly as well. So we wanted to take something that, the standard board was about this wide and a little taller, but then we wanted to add some extra room into it. So as far as the layout, it's pretty much exactly the same, everything from the bystanders through the city, the HQ, the officers, but then on to the left-hand side, we were able to add space for the twists, the strikes, the sidekicks. And then we had some extra space over here. So I went through and I looked at all the different schemes and masterminds and what additional piles have been added to the game. And there's a lot of them. Devin Lowe, the designer of Legendary, has just grown the game incredibly throughout the last 8 years. So there wasn't really anything that we could lock down. If we made a space for every single pile, this mat would be so big it wouldn't be able to fit on a table. So we've got these 3 areas on the side that are unmarked. They can be used for anything from ascending masterminds, blood piles for Thanos, anything else that you may need, even the new recruits from the villain side. So that can be mixed and matched depending on the setup that you do. But we knew when we were designing these that we wanted to take a piece of art and just try and make these as cool as possible. So Sam, who you may have heard from the last segment, she's our art acquisition lead. I go to her with some really, really crazy stuff. And so for this, it was Thanos is the big bad guy that was going on right at that time during the MCU. I want him big and center. I want a bunch of Avengers around him trying to stop him doing something with the Infinity Gauntlet and try and make it as cool as possible. So she reached out to a Brazilian artist by the name of Caio Cacau, and he came back with this, and this is incredible. And this pretty much tells you a story of what's happening in Legendary. You've got Thanos, who is the mastermind. His scheme is going to have something going on with that Infinity Gauntlet, probably trying to do another snap. And then all of these heroes have gotten together and they're trying to stop him. So just the way that this pops, this was so incredible. This image is so incredible. You will actually see this later in another card accessory. But we knew that we didn't want just one because for comic book fans, different eras have different fans. So our other product manager, Rob, he's a little older than I am, and he was big into Avengers. I grew up in the 80s and 90s, so I'm big into the X-Men. So we knew that we wanted to do something for the X-Men as well. And one of the biggest storylines from the X-Men is Dark Phoenix. So we kind of had that same feel that you saw with the Thanos. And she's large and in charge in the metal. She's got something going on. She's trying to complete a scheme, and all of the X-Men have come together to try and stop her. Some reluctantly, because obviously Jean Grey is a friend, but just an incredible image. This one in particular from another Brazilian artist by the name of Gil Martimiano da Silva Jr. Just so many different characters, so many different viewpoints. Just incredible what he's done here. So for these playmats, they are rubber, which means that they can be rolled up and transported. They also won't shift. And if we're ever using any of the cards, they're easy to pick up. They have a little bit of that give there. So it's something that really helps enhance the gameplay. It really just makes. I can drop these on a table, and people will want to know what the game is just based off of this art alone. The playmats themselves, we actually joined with Ultra Pro. So they are the ones that actually produce them, so you know the quality is there. Each one of these mats has an SRP of $29.99. It does come in a box, which means you can roll it back up, put it back in there, and actually can carry it around for you. But yeah, I mean, some of these are absolutely incredible. And these both are available right now through our distribution partners. So you can find them at your local store. You can ask for them at your local store, or if you need to, you can always go to upperdeckstore.com and actually you can find them there as well. Now we'll go actually into our non-gaming stuff. So we knew that with some of our games, including Versus System 2PCG, we wanted to be able to allow players to protect and play using Marvel that may not be playing one of our games. There's a lot of card games out there. There's a lot of just different cards, whether it's a TCG, CCG, 2PCG. There's just a ton of stuff out there. So we decided we were going to do a series of playmats and a series of card sleeves to try and hit at every fan out there. There's a lot of them. So we actually started with Spider-Man. Spider-Man is the #1 superhero in the world. So obviously he's got to be our #1 guy. Some of you may recognize this image. This actually is from the Sensational Spider-Man #23. And this was drawn by Angel Medina. When we saw this image, we knew that this had to be the one that we went with. Just the way that he's kind of reaching out there, and just that perspective you get of him just kind of hanging out on the side. And we paired that up with a card sleeve. This is from the Spider-Man Unlimited #1. This was done by Andy Kubert. So the difference between that we'd have to look for as far as finding the images, when you're doing something for a playmat, you got to go more horizontal, and then for that card sleeve, you got to go more vertical. A lot of Spider-Man stuff has got his leg kicked out to the side, or he's pulling the web down between his legs, trying to launch himself off. So this one he's coming right at you. The lightning, the colors, it was so cool the way that this kind of totally popped out there. So I will tell you though that all of these are limited edition. We are only producing one time for these images, and then once they sell out, we will not be making these images again. So if you see something you like, make sure you pick them up. We may do another one of that character later on, but these particular images will never be seen again once these sell out. So we come back actually to Thanos, because obviously he was the big bad guy at the time. So we reached out and we got that image for that legendary playmat, and I loved it so much that I knew I had to use it again. So we scaled it down a little bit. Some of the characters were cut off on the ends, but it's all about that big Mad Titan right there in the center, and that gauntlet that he loved so much. And because he was so well known for basically the snap that was heard through the universe, we knew that we wanted to capture that exact moment, and this is that moment. This is actually from the Infinity Gauntlet #1. This is the panel that George Perez drew of that snap. The fact that everything's black and white except for that word. This is actually my favorite card sleeve of the entire group. It's simple, but it tells you exactly what's going on, and it's that one moment. It is just too incredible. And of course, we wouldn't be able to do any card preview or any card accessory without bringing in the X-Men, and probably the most popular X-Men of all is, of course, Wolverine. This particular playmat is from Wolverine #1. This was done by Alan Davis, and it shows everything that Wolverine is. He's not usually a very happy guy. He's usually got those claws out, and he's usually tearing through something. He is the best at what he does, and we've actually used this image for those who know Versus System 2PCG. We actually use this image for Wolverine. It's one we really, really enjoy. And to pair that up, we have his card sleeve here. This one is from Wolverine #305. This was done by Jason Keith and Mark Morales. Just that costume is what I grew up with. just, his stance of just he's ready to go. He's got those claws out, surrounded by fire. He's not really caring about what's going on other than what he's going to have to take care of. So these are pretty impressive. Like I said before, these are all limited edition. So if you do see anything that you like, whether it's from the 3 that we've shown off, or we also have a few others that we've recently released. The first one being Black Widow. She actually just got released here in July. This is an alternate image from Black Widow #1, the cover. This was done by Stephanie Hans. We wanted something that showed her power, that showed who she was, and not just about what she looked like. So she's got that gun up. She obviously has the iconic logo right there on her belt, that flowing red hair. But it looks like, with the fire embers in the back, she's probably blown up something. She's going back for more. Things are happening. Insurance companies are being called. So she is ready to go. But yeah, it's all about the power with her. And then starting next month, we've got Camilla Khan, Ms. Marvel. This is a cover image that was done by Janelle Jones and Rochelle Rosenberg. This is from Ms. Marvel #13. Camilla Khan obviously taking up the Ms. Marvel from Carol Danvers. But again, we wanted to show her with her power, that ability. Just standing there ready to protect, ready to get in the way, doing her superhero thing. It's an incredible image. And then in September, we will have Black Panther. This image itself is actually something that was done by Marvel, so we don't know who the artist is. This is something that they've given out to companies to use. But when we saw this, you've got that black and vibranium kind of coldness against that tapestry, that warmth behind him. It just, and that X, of course, the arms crossed. This will come out in September. So we got all those to look for. And as I said before, if you see anything you like, make sure you pick it up now, because these are all limited edition. The sleeves, the playmats, all limited edition. Once we sell out of something, it'll be gone, and you won't be able to find that image again. Like, we may be able to do another image with that character, but we won't be able to do that particular image. And to finish out the year, we are expecting to do Venom, Thor, and the Incredible Hulk. So you'll find those coming out in October, November, and December, respectively. So that's what we have for card accessories. I guess the question is, who would you like to see? What characters would you like to see out there? There's a lot of characters, obviously, in Marvel. A lot of stuff that we would like to use. But we're always looking for ideas and kind of knowing what the consumer base wants to play with.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm just giving everyone a last look at what we've gone over. And Black Panther. I think I missed Wolverine. Here's Wolverine.
Hey, Mark, when did that Black Widow mat come out?
The Black Widow mat? Unfortunately, we are not doing mats outside these first 3. We know that the card sleeves themselves were definitely the more popular ones. But if we get a lot of interest on the play mats, we will be able to do that. And just to actually let you know about the sleeves themselves, they are matte based. So we have that matte finish on them, which means that when you're playing with them, you don't get a lot of glare on it. So it's perfect for those that do either streaming or doing online games. Some of the Versus community, some of the Versus community have actually started doing more online games due to the current world events. So you don't get that glare on them. They're also come in packs of 65. We did that because most trading card games can actually be filled within that gap. Versus system itself needs a 60 card deck. So you're able to actually only buy a single pack rather than having to buy multiple packs in order to sleeve that particular deck that you're playing with. But like we said, the playmats outside the legendary stuff, the playmats and the card sleeves are non-game specific, and they also fit the standard card size. So as long as you're playing with standard card, you can use these anywhere. You can use these in a TCG. You can use these in a deck builder. You can use these just about anywhere. So you can actually show off your Marvel love in games that may not be Marvel.
Awesome. Yeah, Black Widow is just a card sleeve for now. Spool flies, Warpig. Yeah, Legendary DXP. If you are not, we're going to be going over it in another day, but we can highlight it now on the App Store, Android, iOS, and Steam. We have Legendary DXP. But focusing on these accessories, let's see if I can get a nice little top-down view. These are amazing. I want you guys to just see these up close. Mark had it, but because we have to do Skype because of COVID and everything, I wanted to just make sure we got the best quality of image here. I gave you some of those videos, but
hey Mark, what's the price point on those sleeves and those mats?
Yeah.
The sleeves SRP is $9.99, and the mats the SRP is $19.99.
All right.
How many sleeves do you get per pack?
65 per. That way they can fit most TCG games.
Yeah. We can definitely open up. You guys have any other questions? Now's the time to get those answered. What's your favorite accessory, Mark? Well,
my favorite one was the Thanos snap.
Yeah. That's so cool. That's the one I'm using. I'm glad you gave me this one. Wolverine was probably my second favorite. It's just clean. The snap is clean. That's really cool.
Yeah.
The contrast with the yellow and the black and white. All right. Well, if there's any other questions, we got 8 minutes left. Go over.
Well, I do have one other thing to go over, but it's more for stores, for games, for those who actually play in stores.
Ooh, yeah.
We do have organized play kits for both Legendary and the Versus System 2 PCG. These kits are designed for stores to host events at their locations. Obviously, with COVID, it's kind of slowed down quite a bit. But if you do play Legendary or Versus System, let your stores know that when you're able to actually get back in there, that we sell these through our distributors only to stores. They do run about $20 for a store. And we're going to go ahead and open one of these up right here to kind of show you guys what it is that these contain, so you can share them with your stores. So each box has the same stuff. Comes with a whole bunch of different things. One of the first things is a sign that the store will use. They can put that out to show when game night is, what time, and some of the items that are actually going to be inside those this kit. Nice. And usually everybody kind of gets one free item. The next thing is a exclusive playmat. We will grab images from the game itself and actually put that in there. So this is Power Man, one of the more popular cards for Versus. This was each kit has a theme. This one is known as the Big Apple Battle. So you're going to see characters in here that are from New York, from Spider Friends, from Defenders, from Underworld, Sinister Syndicate. So some of the cards that it comes with, I believe it comes with 32 different items. So you've got the playmat. Then you've got two different types of foil. You have a more limited number to 5 foil. This one is Mysterio from the Sinister Syndicate.
That's awesome.
And that whole thing is foiled up, so you can really see how it glistens. And then we will add in a 25 count of another one. This one is Jessica Jones. Some of these, like Jessica Jones, have original art on them. So like I said before, I'll go to Sam and say, hey, I want an image of Jessica Jones kicking butt and punching through Purple Man. So you can actually see that the artist put in Purple Man that she's kind of kicking through it, almost like she's kicking through glass, but then kind of getting through that Purple Man effect that he had on her. So you will sometimes see original art on these. So 25 of these usually are given out as just participant awards, and then you've got kind of the more limited. But one of the cooler things that we actually add to these is something that we use actually in trading cards, and it's known as an acetate. So this is Spider-Woman. And the cool thing about these is it's actually clear. And it kind of has multiple levels to it, so it gives it kind of a three-dimensional feel to it. So some of those numbers up here are kind of higher than the others. This one actually is an alternate art. We grabbed one of the cover images of Spider-Woman. And then for the versus stuff, because they get turned over and stunned, we wanted to make sure that there was something on the back there as well. So these are really thick, really impressive. We will only make these out of cards that don't get mixed into decks.
I was going to ask that. I almost asked, I was like, how would I play with a sleeve?
Yeah, so this one doesn't necessarily need to be sleeved. Main characters on Versus don't actually get mixed into decks, and also on the Legendary side, we'll do them for Masterminds, because Masterminds don't get mixed in. They're always on the board. So it's just kind of a cool way of really kind of blinging out your gameplay there. So if you've got a store that plays either Legendary or Versus, let them know that there are organized play kits. For Legendary, we've got 3, and for Versus, we've got 6. $20 a piece, and can be a way of getting more people kind of into the store, showing off the game more. They can be used. They don't necessarily need to be used for tournaments. They can be used for like demo nights, game nights. They can be used for raffles. Just something that the way that the store can help promote itself, promote the game, get more players in the game, which means more people coming to your store. So if you've got a local store that plays these or is interested in doing some organized play stuff, we've got the stuff for them, and they can get these through any of their distributors. So anybody that they get Versus or Legendary or Upper Deck products from, they can get all of this from.
Oh, that's great. All right, Mark, I think we had I missed one thing earlier with Sam, but yeah, did I miss anything, Bubby? Any other questions that we're missing here?
Oh, I think we're good.
All right.
We have some guy with like Spool of Flies is really excited about Black Widow, so I think we need to make more Black Widow stuff.
She's an underrated character.
She totally is. She totally is. We are doing one sleeve per month. So, but if things pick up and the people upstairs say go, I'll produce this stuff all day long.
All right. Bubby, if you would, there's a link to the gallery. I meant to go through this with Sam, but if we can get a link in the chat for the gallery. The last piece of things that we have is I want to highlight this one more time. I'm going to put the information on the screen. This is our Comic-Con exclusive, Arrival of the New Mutants by Dave DeVries. We had the interview earlier in the stream and all the work that went into this amazing print. There's only 100 of them. It is a great size. I'm going to grab this one right here to show you how big it really is and show you here. So, it's my waist, my head, it's a decent size print, and it's amazing. I mean, the biggest thing to take away is how it printed on the paper. Like he said, when we had him on here, was the print itself, when drawing it, when it's actually printed, the colors and everything, even on the camera now, it doesn't do it justice. You got to make sure that you see this thing in person. So that is right there for you. It's on it's 18 by 24, 300 GSM, 100% cotton, $100, and it's available right there. Now, don't stop there. When you click on the link that is posted in the chat right now, there is many more. We have a full gallery of all sorts of prints. And so just to be sure, let me actually do this. Let's do this. really quick before we end our time here. Let me go back to here. And we'll go through a quick thing really quick. So as you can see here, this is Upper Deck Store, the gallery prints. You have the exclusive prints here. You can get the regular version for $50.99 or the exclusive Comic-Con for $100. But then as you keep going, you have all sorts of prints to look at. The What If series, Masterpieces, Avengers Assemble, Avengers Forever, and the list goes on. And so if you are a fan, you need to fill those walls up. Make sure that you go check these out. We got Deadpool down here. We got Thanos, and so many more. And so that link that was posted in the chat, make sure you go check out, and make sure you pick this guy up. I think that does it for us. Tomorrow we are streaming again, 12 p.m. PDT, and we'll be streaming for an hour. We're playing some legendary New Mutants. So join us for that, along with I think that's the main highlight for tomorrow. Yeah, we're gonna be playing Legendary. If you've never played Legendary, it's a deck builder game, and it's one of my favorites. So be sure to join us tomorrow at 12. And that's all I got. I will see you guys tomorrow. Is there any final questions or comments in the chat? Can I come work with you? No, you no. No. All right, everyone, have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of Comic-Con online or at home, and we will see you guys tomorrow.